Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special edition of Poor Jasses. We are two brothers with four bad knees, and tonight we are starting a revolution. Tonight we're all focusing on the big AEW show on pay per view. I am Morgan,
I'm Jeremy.
and we've got a special guest tonight. We got the man who broke my nose when I was 13 years old, our buddy Floyd.
True story.
Boys, what are your first feelings on tonight? Do you think is this their WrestleMania? Is this gonna be the gonna show of all shows for AEW?
They have a WrestleMania caliber main event, I can tell you that much. It's a good card. It's a stacked card. A lot going into it, but I don't consider it a WrestleMania attitude style show.
Exploding barbed wire death match. That's enough to intrigue a lot of people, especially people that may have never seen one live. Raising my hand for people that can't see. But no, I mean, there's plenty of good matches in here. Tons of questions. Who's the Hall of Fame worthy talent going to be that Paul White said is coming to be introduced? Who's the last participant in the ladder match? Like, so many good questions, so many good matches. It's going to be a good night.
Let's start off with the buy-in. When we're recording the show, it's about 6:30, so we got about 30 minutes before the buy-in starts, and we're gonna start off with Rio and Thunder Rosa versus Britt and Rebel. Guys' opinions. Jeremy, I know your feelings on Britt Baker, your future ex-wife. I'm sorry, Adam Cole. But really, ever since the start of AEW, I've fallen in love with Rio. I didn't know who she was when they first started. But what AEWs have done with the Japanese wrestlers, especially in the women's division, is absolutely huge. And I'm literally taking Rio and Thunder Rosa tonight.
Yeah, it makes sense for Rio and Thunder Rosa to get over tonight. Hopefully that this leads to a match between those two. That's enough for me to tune in.
Yes,
for Rio
please.
and Thunder Rosa, that's a selling point enough.
I'm with you guys on who wins the match for sure. I mean, yeah, like you said with Riho, I felt the same way even with Thunder Rosa. I didn't have the knowledge as much with other places outside of WWE before AEW really hit it off big. So finding out about Riho, about Thunder Rosa, about all these other talents, it's just been so eye-opening and such a breath of fresh air to learn about all these extremely talented people out there. And yeah, to see these two paired up in a match, I'm looking forward to it.
Britt Baker, I still love you.
We're sorry, Britt. We've watched, me and Jeremy especially have watched a lot of Britt Baker. From the stuff there in Pittsburgh, a lot of the territory wrestling that they did there with Adam Cole. She did with Adam Cole. Even being on Anthony Bourdain's Parts Unknown. So we've known about Britt for a very long time.
Yeah,
we're very big fans of her. I think do all three of us have a picture of Britt?
just us two.
I did not know.
No, we met Britt at an NXT house show in Altoona a few years ago before she signed with AEW.
Shout
and
out to the Jaffa.
Best birthday present ever.
Yep. Moving on. This is going to take me about 45 minutes to read out all the participants. But we got that Casino Tag Team Battle Royal. Not sure how it's going to work, if they're going to do the cards like they do with the other Casino Battle Royals in previous pay-per-views for AEW. But, we got, obviously we're going to start with Bear Country. We're going to go Stu and Uno, the Dark Order. We got Silver and Reynolds. We got Top Flight, Varsity Blondes, Natural Nightmares, Chaos Project. We got 5 and 10. Who actually is, I think, my sneaky.
I was thinking that before you started
My
reading names.
sneaky pick is 5 and 10 tonight.
They're up there with the team.
Obviously, Santana and Ortiz. Butcher and the Blade. I'm gonna guess somehow Allie gets involved with this. Private Party, Death Triangle, which I still think is the stupidest name for a tag team or a stable ever. The Seidel brothers. Hopefully Matt doesn't kill himself in the last AEW pay-per-view when he
tried to do the
came to the show and almost murdered himself.
Oh yeah, slipped off.
We have Paulie Floyd's Peck and FCU.
Actually, I'm going to throw this out there. That's my pick.
And I didn't know Billy Gunn was still wrestling. I knew Billy
No,
Gunn was
it's
still
not.
wrestling.
It's not Billy.
No, it's not.
It's his two kids.
Okay.
It's Austin and
Fuck. What the hell do I know?
And Whatever the other
whatever
one
the
is.
other name.
They take over the AEW Instagram like every day.
I don't pay enough attention. Depending on how the match works, it's going to be very, very interesting on how they do this. I'm sure there's a lot of high flyers in the match. There's going to be a lot of spots.
Yeah.
Pretty much these battle royals, and even like with the Royal Rumble, they're spot shows. They're spot matches.
Spotfest, yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
that's all it is. And of course, you got big guys, small guys, guys who can fly. I mean, guys the size of your head, But it's what AEW has done with their tag team division. I absolutely adore because they're putting it front and center.
Which the Young Bucks have mentioned when they first started this company that they wanted to put that.
Oh yeah,
the head of the show was their tag team division, and it's working.
Oh yeah.
It's working. I'm gonna throw this out here.
Are you picking 5 and 10?
I'm picking 5 and 10, but does somehow -1 get involved?
Dear God, I hope so.
That would be
A
amazing.
distraction from the outside.
It's their first show since Jeremy's wearing the shirt. Since Brody Lee passed away, it's their first major pay-per-view, and of course they got to do something.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, especially what they've done with -1 being Brody Lee, Huber's son. You mean what they've done with him, for him, and for their family? They got to do something with him in this pay-per-view, and I think it's the perfect place, especially with Stu and Uno. You got 5 and 10 in there.
Silver and Reynolds.
Literally half the Dark Order's in this match.
Is it pretty sad that -1 is more over than Sean Spears was? And Sean Spears
I'm gonna get to. We're gonna get to that here in a little bit when we discuss that tag team match later on.
Sean Spears just showed up last week.
Yeah, so
it was like,
But we're gonna get back to that. But there's a lot that could happen in this match, and where they go from here with the tag team division, especially with the tag team match later.
I'm also going to throw this out here. My pick all depends on. I'm picking SCU. I'm just going to throw that out there. But my pick also depends on where in the show that match falls.
Doesn't the tag team title match start the show? I thought the Young Bucks teased that.
I believe the Young Bucks said that.
Then that changes may change my pick for who wins the tag team titles. Also, so
I mean, let's look at some of the other teams in it. Obviously, they're going to do something in Natural Nightmares. It's Dustin Rhodes. It's QT Marshall. It's you can't have a Cody Rhodes show without his brother and QT Marshall doing something. I think a sneaky pick actually is Varsity Blondes. I love them.
I do too.
They're very talented.
I'm wondering whose idea that was to put them together and name them the Varsity Blondes after Brian's dad and Steve Austin.
Yeah.
It was Steve Austin with hair.
Stone Cold Steve Austin with hair.
Stunning.
Going back there. Moving on. I think the most throwaway match of all throwaway matches of the night, it's Miro and Kip Sabian versus Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Matt Hardy and Adam Page.
No. No. I love Miro. I love his Twitch channel. I think Rusev got screwed in WWE by Vince McMahon. But God, this whole best man thing since he premiered in AEW is a horrible, horrible gimmick. Speaking of gimmicks that have fallen off the face of the earth,
Orange Cassidy.
Orange Cassidy. Brian Alvarez's gimmick of the year for 2020. A pandemic featured wrestling year.
Yeah.
Has to me fallen off the goddamn face of the earth. You have not. It's not. Okay. You know what? I think I know the reason why. Orange Cassidy is his best when there's a crowd.
The crowd reaction for him. Yeah.
If there's not, he's doing the quote unquote super kicks, and there's no like, it's just not worth it.
Remember when we saw Dynamite in Pittsburgh, and he wasn't even in the match. He just got taken out before the match started, and he just rolled around the ring for 10 minutes.
Yep.
Like, that was the most over thing you could get.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. It's like it's just fallen by the wayside.
I heard someone make a comment on this match, and it kind of intrigued me too. I could see where things happened to a point where Miro just snaps, and not only does he demolish Chuck and Orange, but he also demolishes Kip. Is like a second away from getting the new wifey, and then stops himself, but establishing himself no longer as the best man, but just as this pure enraged beast.
You do bring up a good point. Do we get that break off of Miro from Kip Sabian?
Dear God, I hope so.
I hope so too, because there's a lot I think AEW could do with him.
I know I'm one where I thought that was going to be happening before the wedding. Everyone probably thought that though, but
A
yeah,
wrestling wedding, what could go wrong?
I also thought that he was going to come in to AEW, and I thought he was going to be at the top of the show right away. Boy, was I wrong.
yeah.
Well, he made the comment that if he doesn't become world champion, he's leaving.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. But can a guy like him survive on the indies?
No.
I don't think so.
Like you have these guys, obviously a former world champion in WWE, Intercontinental champion, US champion. The man rode out on a tank at WrestleMania.
Best WrestleMania entrance ever.
One of the best tag teams ever with Rusev Day.
Yes.
I've
But-
got the shirt.
But I don't think a man of his stature and his popularity can survive on the indies. Of course, the guy's got stuff outside of wrestling and his Twitch and all that. And I know it's pretty popular, but when you're looking at wrestling and he's not the top guy, he should be a top guy.
Oh, he's absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Jeremy, I'm going to skip on your list here. I know you got the whole card written down. We're going to come down. We're going to throw away another throwaway match, in my opinion. Being Hangman and Matt Hardy. I despise what they're doing with Matt Hardy right now.
Big Money Matt Hardy is literally, for anyone who watched Impact, is his Impact character when he was world champion.
I know. And you can ask anybody. I hated like the mass deletion, that era of Matt Hardy. I hated that. I miss it so much now because I absolutely despise what they're doing to Matt Hardy. Hangman to me is another one of those guys that should be right there at the top of the card.
Yeah, absolutely.
The dude is an amazing wrestler, and he was at the top of the card for a while, but it's fallen off a bit.
I'm thinking they're doing a good, proper, slow build. I think we're just in one of those lulls right now with Hangman.
That is a very good point. With wrestling, you do have those lulls with characters and what you need to do with the guys, and obviously the pandemic changes a lot of storylines and what you can do and crowd size and
it's definitely
background. It's like what you have to do with these guys during a pandemic, and I think they're doing Hangman dirty. Actually,
it's definitely, like you said about the slow builds with characters. This with the pandemic is slow builds. Definitely slow.
But we also come from years and years and years of being used to WWE hot-shotting storylines, just like with no build and quick payout.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what I mean. I could name you probably 20 right off the top of my head.
I think we named about 10 of them our last show.
Last show, yeah, I think we really did. So who do you guys got? Hangman. Actually, did we even make it? No, we didn't even make a prediction. And Miro and Kip Sabian and Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy.
Miro and Kip.
I'm gonna go Chuck E.T. and Orange Cassidy because I think Trent
could be the snap. Okay.
I think Trent comes back at some way or another and costs Miro and Kip the match.
I'm taking Chucky Taylor and Orange Cassidy. I think they lose, and that's when we get the Miro turn.
God, we can only hope so.
You mean it's a face/heel turn at the same time?
Yeah.
But I think that's what happens. Who do you guys got for Hangman and Matt Hardy?
Hangman.
That's easy. That's gonna be a Hangman win. Next up, let's talk about let's go street fight. Go Ricky Starks and Brian Cage versus Darby Allin and Sting. Like we were talking before we started recording, apparently, Jeremy, you read that it is pre-taped.
From what I understand, the match is pre-taped, which is probably a good idea. But they did say it was a massive success. I don't know of anything other than that.
I like the idea of them pre-taping it because...
You got a 60-year-old man trying to wrestle?
Yes, and we saw that with The Undertaker in WWE with what was that match he had with AJ Styles at
The
WrestleMania?
Boneyard match?
The Boneyard match.
The Bonesaw match?
Bonesaw is ready. Rip. But yeah, I mean, with an older guy like that, and even a younger guy with like Ricky Starks, you know, what I mean, I think it's good to.
We all know our thoughts on Sting and Darby and Brian Cage. What do you guys think about Ricky Starks? Because I was a guy
I haven't seen enough of them.
I watched the NWA when they were still working.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know much about him
I watched their YouTube team.
other than his AEW stuff.
That character is strange to me. It's like Rick Rude, Kurt Hennig, and a bunch of other guys like that had a baby, and out comes Ricky Starks. Like the cocky attitude and everything like that. The guy can go in the ring. You got to give him that. His match with Cody when he first showed up at AEW was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I'm not a huge fan of his character with Team Taz. Just doesn't fit. Like everybody else, Brian Cage, Powerhouse Hobbs,
Powerhouse, and then
Hulk. And like they fit. Ricky Starks is just that weird.
Are they making Taz AEW's Paul Heyman?
Yes.
I could see that.
Of course, Paul Heyman and Taz have a long history together, obviously. But you mentioned Rick Rude, Jeremy. I just want to shout out to @RickRudeSells on Twitter. It's literally just gifs of Rick Rude selling out atomic drops.
Yeah, it's
a great Twitter account. So shout out to that Twitter account, whoever runs it. Thank you very much. Absolutely hilarious. Right there. Okay. But obviously, I know what they're doing with this match. It's Darby as TNT champion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be, to me, the Darby show. And for the foreseeable future, AEW should be the Darby show.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, I'm okay with any dude who does a jump off the top rope holding a skateboard.
And two, you've got Darby pretty much being a current and soon to be future face of the franchise, pretty much. But you were talking about earlier with Starks. I think he's got that potential too. He still has refinement for sure in different areas, and luckily the coaches that they've got behind the scenes should have no problem helping him get there. It's just a matter of how quickly will that happen.
They're both young guys who have very bright futures ahead of them, both Darby and Starks, even Brian Cage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All three guys. Obviously Brian Cage is the what was your thing last episode about
Vinnie Mac's menagerie of muscular men?
Yes, that. Yeah, I mean, what was it? It was like mid 2000s. Like Vince McMahon loves his big sweaty men.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, of course that's gonna be Brian Cage. But no, all three of the guys, you know, I mean, have bright futures ahead of them. Darby, obviously champion now, a TNT champion. Future probably AEW champion. So it's gonna be interesting what they do in a street fight with a 60-year-old dude in the match. I'm kind of like not holding my breath for a good match, but at the same time, if it's pre-taped and some of the spots are already down, I'm like, and edited well, I'm like, okay, maybe it'll be good.
I'll be very curious to see how everything gets laid out in the match.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'll pick Darby and Sting.
Same.
Yes. The only reason why is Darby. I don't think they have the TNT title. Like, I know it's not for the title, but I don't think they have the champion lose on a pay-per-view.
That's a Vince McMahon move.
That is a very Vince McMahon thing. Let's talk about next AEW Women's Championship. Shida.
And Riho Masanami.
I'm glad you can pronounce it because I sure can't.
That's why,
Yeah, you were written down here. I think, how do I want to say this without sounding rude? I think the Thunder Rosa Rio, Britt and Rebel tag team match on the buy-in show is going to be more interesting. I'm not a... obviously, I might pick a Shida. Sheeta's going to win.
Yeah.
I think versus Shida in the women's division, I think you had to have a... I don't know how I want to say this. You have to have the champion face a name on these big shows. And I'm not saying
Riho must have.
Not me.
Well, I understand. It's kind of like how we were with Riho before AEW. No, we didn't know who Riho was. She wasn't as much of a
Obviously, with the
name.
Japanese wrestlers, you know what I mean. Of course, you know what I mean. The casual American audience is not very familiar with it.
Right.
I'm not. I'm saying I'm not. I am, but it's like on these big shows, especially in this season of wrestling, because this late winter, early spring is like the big show, big moment time.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to have a big name versus the champion on these shows. So I'm very surprised, like somebody like Nyla didn't win it, or yeah, I mean, someone that can actually make the women's division look good on a
From,
big show.
from what I understand, with these two in Japan, they were bitter rivals. They had a bunch of matches together, and for everybody who watched the Go Home Dynamite before tonight's Revolution, they actually went at it, throwing
Mhm.
elbows at each other. So I'm kind of on the same point you are of like, I don't know how this is gonna go over, but I still think Sheeta wins. I think Sheeta wins actually pretty easily.
Right. At first, whenever I saw this, part of me thought, why would they bring someone the whole way from Japan to compete in this and be over here for what's probably going to be a lengthy time for them without giving them the title? But then you think again, like you guys said about she's not established over here. Not many people really know who she is, other than what we've been told about, unless you watch a ton of Japanese wrestling. And with those thoughts in mind, I really think Sheeta is going to retain as well.
And I'm just looking at the list of the women's wrestlers in AEW, and I understand where they're kind of doing this because they're actually kind of down a bunch of people. I mean, obviously Anna Jay's out
Yeah.
with the shoulder injury. I mean, Brandy's out on maternity leave. Christian Outlander's going to be out for a while longer with the ACL. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Serena Deeb's out with a knee injury. Um, Other than that, you know, I mean, obviously there's that stuff with Jade Cargill and Red Velvet. I don't know if that is that shit over with Cody and Shaq.
God, I hope so. Because Jade Cargill was the freaking worst in that match. It's pretty sad when Shaq looked better than she did.
Yeah. You mean other than that, you know, I mean the women's division, obviously Britt, yeah, I mean Big Swole.
It's on paper it's a
Nyla
stacked
Rose.
division. On paper. But they have so many, like you said, they have so
There's
many
there's a lot of
injuries.
injuries, a lot of people out. You know what I mean Tay Conti's not bad. You know what I mean I know she does a lot of refinement as a wrestler, but I understand what they were doing with her and Anna Jay. You know what I mean? So without Anna Jay there, she's kind of thrown on the back burner.
She's on Dark a lot, and she does pretty well.
You know what I mean? I would actually like to see Allie, you know what I mean, a little bit more in the
Yeah.
women's division.
Allie can wrestle.
Allie can wrestle. I mean, we saw that in TNA.
Earlier, when you guys were talking about how the tag teams is definitely one of the strongest parts of AEW, I feel like on the opposite end, the women's division in AEW is probably one of their weakest areas, just with the number of not established yet
Names.
names in there. Like you said, like if you're gonna have a name beat Sheeta, as of right now, you probably can count on one hand how many women that really is for right now.
When we talked about this a little bit before we started recording. Um, Out there, that's those free agent women. Are there any? You know what I mean? I know Tessa Blanchard's out there, but that's a to me a non-starter
Too
in
much baggage.
any wrestling. I know Vince. I know there was rumors that Vince was going to sign her, but there's a lot of baggage with the harassment rumors and all that shit, and the reason why she left TNA and Impact. I'm sorry, um, but there's really out there no big free agent. Obviously, because you mean Taya Valkyrie just signed in WWE. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
do you mean really out there in the women's division? There's really no big names out there.
No, none that I can think of.
I know. So, let's do a tag match. Obviously, Floyd, you said that's rumored to be opening the show. Um, I think the free fall I want to say of Chris Jericho and AEW has been kind of concerning.
Yeah, it's the guy comes in with all the fanfare and power of becoming the first AEW World Champion, and don't get me wrong, we all still sing Judas, and we probably will tonight as well.
Of
But
course, and if Jericho is one of the greatest of all times. And I understand why they put the title belt on him when AEW started. Obviously, you want a huge name as your first champion. Yeah,
yes,
I mean,
yes,
Chris Jericho. Yeah, I mean,
you don't get much bigger than that.
no, from WCW, ECW, WWF, WWE,
Mhm.
New Japan, AEW. I mean, obviously, you went the first. And to me, Jericho has gone downhill. And you guys are probably going to be angry at me. This whole Jericho MJF shit has gone downhill since the whole musical thing.
That was amazing, and you're right because
You
after
guys
that,
loved it. I hated it because
I
I
thought
think it's so stupid.
I can see how it was divisive, obviously. I mean, being the professional I am, I enjoy that kind of
Oh, don't get me wrong,
stuff in
Floyd.
there,
I
but
love musicals.
we all
But-
three of us love a good
but
musical.
I mean, it doesn't exactly fit that well in that kind of scene.
Yeah. And that's another thing. I think that whole thing would have been great if there was a crowd.
Oh, the crowd would have ate that up.
If there was a crowd, that they would have ate that shit up exactly. But obviously tonight, I'm taking the Bucks. I think you get a separation between Jericho and MJF.
I
I think this is where Sammy Guevara gets involved tonight.
I agree with that, and I'm picking the Bucks as well.
Um, I mean, I could see it go a couple different ways. I could easily see it being the Young Bucks winning and getting involved. I could also see it a way where maybe, thanks to interference by Wardlow or one of the other members, that Jericho and MJF retain, but then in that battle royal, Sammy comes in and helps maybe Santana and Ortiz to start a bigger rift in the inner circle.
I think if you want to start a big riff in the inner circle and start the storyline for a build up of a big
Yeah.
breakup of the group, I think you cost obviously the leader and other second biggest name in the group a title loss.
But that right there, though, doesn't sound bad either.
No, it doesn't. But my also thing are the Bucks still considered heel?
They're tweeners, in my opinion.
Yeah, tweener sounds
And
about
this is
right.
why I hate match. And obviously, Jericho and MJF are heels,
Yeah.
and it's just, the Bucks are to me are heels right now.
Yeah.
I hate the heel versus heel, the face versus face, especially on a big show and a title match. Obviously, this goes back to the earliest days of writing and stories and cavemen and drawings on paintings on walls. You need a hero and you need a villain.
Yeah.
And to me, I can't find excitement in villain versus villain.
And I kind of and I see your point, but the Bucks are so over that they could be heels, they could be faces, they would still get cheered no matter what.
I agree. So predictions, boys. Who you taking?
Give me the Bucks.
As much as I'd love to see that scenario play out, I probably got the Bucks also.
We're gonna go a sweep for the Young Bucks. What are the chances you get a split between the Bucks?
Mm.
No.
I don't know if I've seen enough yet in the story to warrant that, but that's not to say down the road that doesn't happen.
I think they start that on. I don't think it happens. I think there's a 0% chance it happens
I mean,
tonight.
hey, BTE 200.
But I think something like that happens on Being the Elite. I think that happens on YouTube. I don't think it happens at a show.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's the Bucks babies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's where it goes. So, our next topic. Obviously, we're gonna finish with the title match. Obviously,
got the ladder match, right?
but right now, we're gonna go into the Face of the Revolution ladder match. Um, participants being Cody, Scorpio Sky, Max Caster, Lance Archer, Jeremy's freaking out. And Penta.
I just thought of something.
And a to-be-announced participant. So, how do you guys want to start this? Do you want to start this on who do you think is going to win minus the entrant, or do you guys want to talk about who we think the entrant is first?
Well, I can already tell you who my pick is, and I'm surprised that Floyd over here didn't pick his boy, because I'm picking my boy. Well, actually, I'm not going to pick. I want to pick my boy, but I feel kind of bad being Cody. Like, I want Cody to win because I always want Cody to win, but I just don't think it's right for him right now to win that and then go against the TNT title again when his wife is like a couple of months pregnant.
I think they write Cody off here soon for a while. Obviously, Brandy being pregnant with their daughter, you know what I mean? I think Cody leaves for a little bit.
And that also ties into who I think the mystery guy is.
I think I have my clues, and I'm going to preface this here for a second. So, if you're listening, my name is Morgan. I'm 31 years old. I like long walks on the beach. It is not CM Punk. I'm saying it right fucking now. It is not CM Punk.
I swear to God, if I hear that freaking music, I'm like...
If it is, I will literally get up off of Jeremy's couch when I'm watching it tonight. I will walk out that door. I am walking right on the Munster Road over into the creek. It is not CM Punk.
For those of you not from Western PA, crick means creek.
But my prediction is the guy in the ladder match. Do they pull a Brian Cage? Do they have the guy, the big signee, come out and win the thing? Part of me says yes, part of me says no. So I have two ideas here. Okay. I'm picking Penta. If the announcement doesn't win it, but my pick to win it, and this is not the Paul Wright Hall of Fame guy, I think that's completely something else. But famous guy in a ladder match in WWF and WWE. You mean, it was in famous TLC matches. Okay.
There's 6 guys you can name there.
My pick is Christian.
I'm going to throw another name out there.
Because I have an idea for the Hall of Fame, Paul Wright. We'll get this after the ladder match. Our predictions there.
Who else is a free agent that has also been in ladder matches?
Who?
Bully Ray.
I'm going to get to that here in a little bit because that's my pick for the Paul Wright.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Hashtag spoiler alert.
Here's my prediction. I'm going to go Scorpio Sky to win the ladder match.
Okay.
The guy that comes out as the mystery participant has issues with 2 of those guys in the ladder match.
Okay.
The chair shot heard around the world.
All right.
And the guy who was feuding with Scorpio Sky before he took time off just showed back up on Dynamite Wednesday night. Sean Spears.
No, because didn't Tony Khan say the announced guy is a new signee?
Did he?
I thought that's what he said.
I thought that's what Tony Khan said.
Well, then if that's the case, then...
Fine, I'm picking -1 to win the ladder match.
That would be the best thing ever.
Technically, he is a TNT champion.
True.
Yeah,
Technically, he is, for life. So -1 is my pick for the title match.
-1 versus Darby Allin. That's like... they're about the same size.
You know when they put Darby in a body bag?
Yeah.
They throw -1 in a grocery bag.
Oh, God.
A 3-way dance between Darby Allin, Marco Stunt, and -1.
Footnote, porch asses do not condone childhood violence.
Except when it's us and we were in the back of White's backyard.
Yeah.
And I broke your nose.
And Floyd broke my nose.
I'll have to explain that story before the end of the...
Oh, I explained it in the last episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, I explained
I'm that guy. Hi.
Or we're in the back of Nate's backyard and I hit Jeremy with the open end of a trash can. And then Floyd's ex-girlfriend at the time, quote unquote, fainted because it was cold out.
Oh, God.
Oh, shit. We had fucked up childhoods.
We all make mistakes.
Yes, we do. So, before we end here, or not before we end, but...
Are you picking Penta?
So, your pick. Floyd.
Okay, Penta is the one that Jeremy was referring, like, my boy, like, I've always been on
courtesy of
the
Impact.
Lucha Brothers bandwagon, Cierro Miero. But as of how he's been the past couple of weeks on Dynamite and how he's been different, I'm picking Scorpio Sky myself. As for the surprise entrant, I'm very high on don't be surprised if it's not maybe a new signing as much as it is someone from Impact or, dare we say, someone from New Japan.
My, I also wanted to get into that, but you know, I mean, obviously, I said my pick. I'm picking Penta. Um, if Okada walks out behind that curtain, I'm marking out like I've never marked out before.
Amen to that, but I will give you I'll be Captain Buzzkill on that.
It's not happening.
No, Okada supposedly has a neck injury.
Mm.
That's what I've read,
God damn it.
but I want to hear somebody scream Rainmaker.
I almost wore my Golden Lover shirt tonight, too.
Ah, Coda.
Kodo would be great, too. Actually, any guy from New Japan where they could get a rivalry going between Omega and a guy from New Japan, or Moxley and the guy from New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
When's Jay White a free agent? Give me Jay White.
Jay White is a free agent.
Give me Jay
Oh
White.
my god, if he's the
Oh
signing.
shit! I didn't even think.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
buddy.
We all have to change
Switchblade.
our pants now.
Switchblade.
So obviously I'm taking Penta. Floyd, you're taking Scorpio
Scorpio.
Sky. Jeremy, you're taking.
I'll take Scorpio Sky.
Jeremy's taking Scorpio Sky.
I'll be happy with anybody, to be honest with you.
Okay. So last but not least, the match of the night. The main event, the AEW World Titles on the line, an exploding barbed wire death match. I know, Floyd, you're not very well versed in death matches.
I've only seen a few videos of snippets of ones that Jeremy showed me, and oh boy, I think I'm in for a doozy, but I am so looking forward to it.
As Jim Ross once said, this one will not be for the faint of heart. So put the women and children to bed before the main event. It's gonna be crazy.
Shout out to my boy P Samp on Twitter.
Oh, what up, P Samp?
I have a little bit more knowledge in death matches.
Yeah, he's the king of them.
You mean watching stuff on YouTube and that of like Casanova Valentine in New York City and all those death matches up there, and of course I think it's a death match. Yes, it's on pay-per-view, but I do think it's kind of toned down a little bit. Obviously, it being a major wrestling company, it's not going to be, oh my god, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that man literally died. Obviously,
I think they're gonna be. It's gonna be toned down, but it's gonna be like their match at Full Gear when they had the barbed wire bed, if you want to call it that.
Yeah,
They do have some of those out in the layout.
They got fined by. I think they were in Baltimore that night. They got fined by the State Commission of Baltimore.
Yeah, I remember that.
So obviously it's Kenny Omega, John Moxley. Not the first time these men have met. Won't be the last time these men have met.
No. Is this Omega's first death match?
I have no idea.
This is like a typical Tuesday for Moxley.
Yes, it is a typical Tuesday for Moxley. Typical Tuesday Titty Master.
Yeah.
For John Moxley.
There you go.
I dropped the Titty Master reference. Thank you, John Moxley, in the city of Cincinnati. But obviously, it's going to be brutal. It's going to be dangerous. What do I know is going to happen? I have no fucking clue.
No.
No one knows what's going to happen in this match. I do think Omega retains. Mm-hmm. I do think they write Moxley off of television for a while, obviously with soon-to-be dad, like Cody Rhodes. So I think this is a way to write Moxley off for a while. I think you start obviously a new storyline, Omega and Don Callis, the heel of all heels. Do they do more stuff with Impact, or is that in the books, or is that done? What's supposed to go on with that?
I mean, you still got the Good Brothers riding around with them. So,
oh fuck, I forgot about them.
So yeah, I think that's not ending anytime soon.
I don't know. Like they're rolling with Impact because obviously Don Callis is the president of Impact, but they've only done like two things with Impact. Was with the Good Brothers and Kenny showing up on Impact to wrestle in their pay-per-view.
What about Private Party?
And then Private
I
Party.
forgot about Private Party.
What a fall. Speaking of fall from grace.
Yeah, that's weird.
Again, the Matt Hardy thing.
True, good point.
To me, Private Party is Mrs. What's Bianca Belair's husband or boyfriend?
Desmond Ford?
What's their
Oh, the
goddamn-
Street Profits.
Street Profits. They're literally, to me, the same tag team.
Well, that's pretty much what it is.
It's like the same gimmick. It's the same shit, and they're forgettable.
Just one's
Oh,
PG, one's
God.
not.
We had the pre-show. We had the buy-in on.
We had the buy-in on, and anybody else here that Sting's literally wearing a flak jacket? Like, that's how bad his
absolutely.
back is.
That doesn't
He's
surprise
literally
me at
wearing
all.
a flak jacket. I'm guessing they're having fans tonight. I guess they're doing like those
the
quote-unquote
pods that they
pods.
do for Dynamite.
Yeah. Obviously, shout out to Tony Khan and the Khan family for having what they do have in the middle of the pandemic. I love the AEW set considering to Vince's Thunderdome. I hate that shit. And what are they supposed to do? Speaking of that, what are they going to do when the Rays start playing baseball again?
According to what I've read,
They're probably going to tour and go to Texas, and everybody's going to get the big Rona.
probably. But the Rays are supposed to start up at the beginning of April, correct?
Yes.
They're going to stay in the area, the Tampa area, quote unquote. So they're gonna move out of Tropicana, but they're gonna go. I don't know where else they can freaking go. Where the Lightning play? What's the arena that the Lightning play?
The Amelia Arena.
Yeah, there.
Well, you can't do that, obviously, because the Lightning play every other night there.
Yeah, that's true.
To me, they should have never. I don't even know why I try about WWE this right now, but they should have never left the Performance Center.
Yeah,
To me, it's stupid, especially with no crowds. But to finish off our AEW show, guys, who do you think I almost said the Big Show, but I knew I was going to get sued by Vince McMahon for 39 cents.
Hey, no more BS.
No more BS, which is kind of funny because Cody's show on TNT is also
It's
called The Big Show.
Uh-huh.
Big Show.
Yeah, which is kind of funny to me. But so your guys' predictions on who the mystery announcement signing,
Well,
Hall of Fame caliber.
Well, first, main event. Obviously, I agree with you 100%. It's Moxley's going to lose. He's going to be gone for a while. And for the signing,
So all three of us are picking Omega.
Absolutely.
for the signing, I really don't have a clue. I've kind of stayed away from any potential spoilers. I'm just hoping to be super excited and pumped after.
This is also not CM Punk.
Yes, not
No.
CM Punk.
Jeremy mentioned a little bit before. I think it's Bully Ray.
That would be awesome.
I would not say no.
I think it's Bully Ray. I don't know what you do with Bully Ray in AEW. I also possibly think there's a chance it's Christian. Obviously, because he's not in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Wait, who?
Christian.
Christian!
Okay, I'm not even doing it.
Okay, yes. He is, they said Hall of Fame
We want
worthy.
people to return to the podcast.
They said Hall of Fame worthy, and then Christian is not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So
It is. Yeah, but Dudley's are in it, right?
Yeah, Dudley's are in it.
Dudley's are, yes.
But can you do Bully Ray without Devon?
it worked
If
in Ring
it's
of
as
Honor.
a coach,
And it worked in Impact and TNA too. What was his
Aces and Eights.
yeah.
Yeah.
Was the group.
Was that the Bullet Club of TNA?
Yes.
Literally everybody was in it at one point.
Yeah. Says the guy that I have like 4 Bullet Club shirts.
Yeah. So we're gonna make one last prediction. Actually, we're gonna make a couple here. So your guys' prediction for match of the night?
Exploding barbed wire death match.
I'm going to have to say the tag match. The Bucks and
Bucks and
Inner
Jer-
Circle.
Wow.
My pick I'm going the ladder match. I have a fetish for ladder matches ever since I was a kid and watching Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon.
That was my second.
I also think, the announcement's big enough that I think it steals the show a little bit. Any other predictions for AEW Revolution tonight, boys?
Does Darby go in a body bag?
I think Darby ends up in a body bag, but somehow lands like a 720 on a skateboard. And then Tony Hawk's just standing there clapping.
Can you imagine if Sting puts Darby in a body bag and uses him as a weapon? That'd be great.
Did they do that already?
Kind of.
Probably.
What's FTR got up to tonight?
Nothing.
What? They give Tully a break or what?
What did you see? Dynamite? Ooh.
So, hear me out. I don't think Jurassic Express is bad, but they need to dump Marco Stunt.
I don't know. Yeah, Marco.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy's a future star.
Yes.
Is his entrance music a rib or is that serious?
I have no idea.
Because I feel like it's a rib. Like a really bad rib.
I can't see Luchasaurus without thinking of him on Big Brother. And me being a reality TV show slut, I can't get past him being on Big Brother. But yeah, nothing from FTR tonight. Nothing from Jungle. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus.
They get a night off.
Which is kind of weird to me because I think both of those tag teams would fit very well in the Casino Battle Royal.
Yeah.
I think the whole Tully Blanchard wrestling thing on Dynamite was very stupid. What do they do with Sean Spears? Are they making their own Four Horsemen now?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? What was Arn Anderson doing? There's too much convoluted bullshit.
Yeah.
Lots of cross streams.
Yes, and we learned from Ghostbusters that you never cross streams.
Amen.
But other than that, boys, I think we're good. We're going to go enjoy AEW Revolution. We'd like to thank everybody for another great episode. I'm Morgan.
I'm Jeremy.
I'm Floyd.
And we'd like to thank you guys for listening to Porch Asses. Have a good night, guys.
Later.